Okay, sorry. For example, integration of subsistence communities. Now, what do you mean by subsistence communities? Can anybody tell me who are these subsistence communities? Pinky, are you there? Yes, Pinky, can you tell me what is a subsistence community? Yes. Pinky, I'm asking to you. Am I audible? Monica, are you there?
So subsistence farming is the traditional homelands of local tribe groups. So they conduct, what are subsistence communities? Are those communities where they are in the same area and they consider that as their traditional homelands?
Perfect answer. Okay. The communities who live only for their existence, they are only bothered about their survival. They are not so keen for that, for their growth or for uplifting their lifestyle or standard of living, right? At the same time, you can also say the communities like farmers in India. Okay. So we have to integrate them, the subsistence communities, into national economy. Not only they produce for themselves, but they also produce some surplus. Surplus which can be sold, surplus which can be exported, like a mango farm. Suppose I have a mango farm and I produce mangoes which are enough to feed me and my family. And also I sell some of the mangoes and I simply manage for my bread and butter. Why shouldn't I be promoted, or I should be motivated to produce more and more mangoes so that not only I can sell them into the regional market, but also in international market. Same is the case with fishermen. If a fisherman is engaged in the fishing and he is satisfied with the quantity of fish available to satisfy his family, but if we promote or motivate him to catch more fish through sophisticated boats, fishing boats, nets, or even we offer the infrastructure like cold storage, then we can bring them to the national this trend, right? National economy. Increases incentives, yes, and opportunities for commercialization and for distributing services and facilities in rural areas. Okay, there will be transportation facility. Why? Because you are regularly providing transportation services to villages. Why? Because not only commercial vehicles, but also the passenger vehicles will be moving to and fro the villages. There will be telecommunication facilities, there will be cold storage facilities, there will be schools. What has happened with Veraval? Veraval was a port, but it was the fishing capital of the Saurashtra region. And as more and more cold storages and more infrastructure provided to Veraval, today Veraval produces the quantity of fish which can be exported also. So it's like that. Okay. Uh, More and more incentives and more uh, facilities. And not only economically, but they will be prospering also. Again, commerce and trade cannot be extended without linking rural areas, uh, local, rural, or peripheral markets to major proportional metropolitan centers. Commerce and trade cannot be extended without linking local, rural, or peripheral markets. Can you imagine that there are scattered villages and they are not connected? It is not possible. Okay, villages which are falling into the same region or adjacent villages, that is villages which are situated very near to one another. They must be linked. And one more thing, yes, Yakding or Mugoya, why your video is on? Okay. Local, rural, or peripheral markets to major metropolitan centers. Okay, let's keep one metropolitan city or one mega city in the center of the cluster. We can form a cluster. For example, Rajkot is not a mega city, but definitely it is a city and it is a full-fledged urban area. So the villages across the Saurashtra region can be linked with Rajkot. Same is the case with Baroda, that the central Gujarat, the villages of central Gujarat can be connected with the Baroda, and villages with central and north central Gujarat can be attached with Ahmedabad. And the pure South Gujarat, the purely southern Gujarat villages must be clustered with the Surat. Surat should be in the center of this cluster. Now, okay, rural urban linkages, in that also physical linkages. How do rural and urban areas are interconnected? One is the physical linkage. In physical linkage, we can include road networks, railway networks, river and more water transport networks. Okay, let's take road networks. When you have to move physically, not virtually. Today, you can transfer money without getting connected physically. You can transfer money virtually. But is it possible to move virtually from one place to another? No. If you want to move or if you want to transport goods from one place to another, the physical linkage is required. And for that, road network is very much required. Okay, road network is must. Uh, Please wait a second because I need to plug in the charger. Okay, now it's fine. Railway networks, where for both for cargo and for passenger transport, railway network is must. So it is desirable that uh, more frequency of trains are there between different villages and different urban and rural area, right? It is to be there. Next is okay, river and water transport networks. Now, not mainly in the western and southern parts of India, but if you go in northern parts, or in the eastern parts, you will find the river network, especially Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, then also West Bengal. You will find the transportation through rural networks. I'm also keen to know from my international friends. Today we have, okay, Isaac, Henry, Moses, Mugoya,
Yes,
Yakdem.
sir.
So tell me that what is the water transport in your country? Are the villages and cities connected with uh, through river network? Please.
Sir, repeat the question again.
Okay. Are there the river network or river transportation or water transportation in your country? That means do people,
Yes, sir. On some rivers, not
which are the
all
rivers?
rivers, maybe actively used. Don't, we have the Nile, Kagera, Choga. No, Choga is a lake, but we have the Nile mostly, and
Okay.
Kagera, River Nile.
Okay. Nile is perhaps the largest river of the Africa, continent. And it is one of the largest rivers of the world also. Good. Is the river or water transport in South Sudan or Uganda?
Water transport is there. Water transport is there. Like normally when guests come to view the source of the Nile, which is in Uganda, uh, they normally use water transport, like to go to that exact spot. And also some people have navigated the Nile using boats and canoes. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. There are tunnels also. Good, good, good. Yes, very good. Nice. So I'm happy to receive answers from Isaac and Mugoy. I think who gave the answer was uh, Yakding or Moses, right? Okay. Now, economic linkages. How the economic activities are linked, interlinked. Let's take it. First of all, market patterns, right? Market patterns. Uh, Mainly rural area have local markets. They sell the perishable goods, and perhaps they also transport the perishable goods like milk, or they transport fruits and vegetables and paddies to urban area. Uh, but the urban markets have more sophistication. Urban markets comprise of, say, sophisticated machine tools, vehicles, two-wheelers, four-wheelers, passenger cars, commercial transportation vehicles, agriculture products, agriculture equipment like tractors or threshers. So this is how there is an exchange between rural and urban area. Mainly raw material is sourced from rural area, and the finished products move from urban area, except food grain. Okay, in urban area you may find some processing industries like pasteurization of milk or bottling of milk or making of dairy products like butter, or there can be abattoirs or meat processors in the rural area, right? Okay. Raw materials and consumption good flows. Uh, as we saw that rural market mainly comprise of perishable goods. Now, again, the same thing is extended, that raw materials and consumption good flows. This is how they both are related. The rural markets are comparatively smaller and urban markets are wider. The rural markets mainly include the familiar people or cluster of villages, while the urban markets involve the unfamiliar people, and also the trade with rest of the states. Like as you told that you are living in Kenya, but you may be transporting the goods to Uganda or Ethiopia or to South Sudan or again to South Africa. Okay. Raw materials and consumption good flows. Now see, consumption pattern of rural and urban area are very different. So whenever, as I told you, when we look for some agri products or some products related to the soil of the earth or even minerals and metals, we look forward to villages. Why? Because you cannot mine in urban area. You cannot dig the mine in a city, nor the sources of these minerals would be available in urban area. So bauxite or gypsum or iron ore, right? Or you can say the limestone. All these things, minerals and metals will be more available in rural area, that are in the mines or in the plains or in the mountains or on the basins, right? Natural gas and petrol. And consumption goods mostly flow from urban area. That is chocolates, ice cream, wafers, potato chips, breads, right? Bakery items, cakes, cookies, electronic goods, mobile phones. They all flow from this urban area. Consumption and shopping patterns. Okay. There is one good linkage between, or there is one nice difference between the patterns of rural area and urban area. In rural area, people mainly store for the whole year. But the more you go to urban area like metropolitan, people don't have the storage space. Moreover, they do not afford to procure the goods for the whole year. So the purchase will be found weekly in urban area, while in rural area there will be uh, the pattern to store everything for. Even I have heard from my rural friends that they also purchase apparels for the year. Either it can be 4 pairs of clothes or 6 pairs, or you can say 8 pairs, whatever they want to purchase, they purchase for the whole year. Now, why this? Because their economy purely depends upon agriculture crops. Agriculture crops are encased when the season ends. Okay, mainly in India, there are 3 seasons maximum, and minimum there can be one season, that is the winter crops and summer crops. Rabbi crops, Rabbi means spring in the Persian language. Rabbi crop means the crops which comes to the field or harvested during the springs. And there are Kharif crops. Kharif is related to the monsoon. So, or you can say winter, sorry. So they are harvested in between the monsoon or after the end of monsoon and before the winter begins. So when you are able to sell your agriculture produce, then only you would be able to sell, purchase other things. Why? Because then only you will receive the cash after selling the crops in agriculture produce market committee or to the wholesalers. For example, I am a cotton producer. I'm a farmer who produces cotton seeds. Then every 3 or 4 months, my crop will be ready, will be harvested, and will be encashed, and so I will receive some money. So I will adjust my purchase accordingly. Even if the season or if the harvest is too good, I will go for purchasing gold also, right? Okay. Shopping patterns. So I told you that what do the rural people consume and what do the urban people consume. Urban people consume more the lifestyle goods, the comfort goods like four-wheelers or branded apparels, branded shoes, accessories like sunglasses, watches, ornaments. But rural people may purchase the ornaments, but they are very much reluctant from buying the fashionable goods, or you can say the branded goods. In fact, they are not aware of the brands, and they do not have this conspicuous, appeal to purchase the thing. Capital and income flows migration. Very nice. Okay, now this is a little bit complicated. Suppose I was a farmer, I migrated to city, or that is urban area. I sold out all my agriculture lands, I realized money, and I established one industry in Rajkot city. So in this case, capital came from rural area. Then I started earning. Then I earned money and I started sending money to the people who are left at the rural area, my cousins or my family members or my brothers or sisters. So in such a way, we can say that capital can flow from the rural area also. When we take the alternative or parallel perspective, more money are found in urban area. Why? Because banks are there, financial organizations are there. So if a farmer wants to buy a tractor, uh, he or she will have to contact the banks or the cooperative societies, which operate more in urban areas. And yes, but one thing is more certain, that capital can flow from rural to urban and urban to rural, but the income mostly flow from urban area to rural area. When I got my house painted, two people came from Uttar Pradesh state, and when I asked them that why they were here, what they had been doing in Rajkot, since how long, they replied that their family had agricultural land in one of the villages of Uttar Pradesh, but it was very difficult to accommodate four brothers. There were four brothers. So two of them migrated to urban area. Initially, the people from rural areas supported, both of them. They helped them in setting down settling down in urban area, and now they were earning very good, so they were also sending money to their family members at rural area. So it must be checked that how much flow of capital uh, uh, move is moving to urban area, and how much income is coming back to rural area. Then population movement linkage. Okay, this is very important. Okay, population movement linkage. One is the permanent migration, and second is temporary journey to work. What can be the permanent migration? Can any Indian student explain, because they might be having good knowledge of it? What is permanent migration?
So permanent migration means like a person moves from one place and settles in other place for permanent. Maybe they have their domicile from there, or the house, or any of the lands over there where they stay.
Very nice. So it's a permanent employment accepted in either rural area or urban area, right? Suppose a person, a student like you, does LLM after completing BA and if she also completes a PhD in law, and one government law college is inaugurated in one of the villages, cluster village, and you think you should serve the rural area also by being professor over there, and you shift to that village, it is called permanent migration. And temporary journey to work, that is a transfer of teacher or professor for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. Okay, or in some banks, the rural branch of a bank, then it is called a temporary migration to work, right? Are you clear? Asha, this also brings good exchange, of both the things. Why? Because when a person from urban area moves to rural area, he can create the influence through lifestyles. Okay, like you can differentiate, you can distinguish the people from metro living in rural area for a certain period, and you will also find some rural people working for a project or for education, in urban area for some training. So it is like that, permanent and temporary. Okay, next is technological linkages. Telecommunication systems. Okay, telecommunication systems. Okay, now this purely moves from urban area to rural area. Earlier there were not telephones, no telephones in villages of India. Then government started giving connection to panchayat office. Panchayat is the the bottom level organization, the three-tier system of democracy in India. Panchayat. So panchayat is a group of 5 people who are elected to act on behalf of other villagers. So panchayat office, panchayat office were given telephone, but today mobile phones, cellular phones, Android phones, okay, even the towers of mobile company are found in urban area. You can also see the DTH, that is direct to home entertainment, including Tata Sky, Airtel, right, Dish TV, DD TV to rural, in rural area. So telecommunication system, then conventional technologies. Conventional technologies again include the organic farming, or you can say the natural way of living, like the biogas, right? And evolution. Evolution means how villages also evolve and how urban area also evolve. How urban areas are or how urban people are helping the rural people to evolve when it comes to technology, when it comes to self development, when it comes to the knowledge, when it comes to education, when it comes to the industrialization, when it comes to economic activities, trade and commerce. Then social interaction linkages. Okay, very interesting. Social interaction linkages. One is the visiting patterns. What kind of visiting patterns? Suppose son or daughter is living in Mumbai city or in Delhi or Bengaluru, and parents are there in rural area. So they may not may not prefer to migrate permanently to urban area, but definitely they will be keep on coming and going to the son or daughter's place. So is it you can say visit by kins, or as your relatives are there, so how they are affected, how they are important, because as there is linkage, it will affect the transportation, bus service, railway service. More stations should be started, more trains should be started, connectivity should be established, so this is how both are interconnected, visiting patterns. And then comes social relationships. Well, there can be only one relationship which may be which may be illustrated, that is marriage. As in India, mostly when the girls marry to a groom who is working or who is employed in urban area or some city, then girls will permanently move to urban area. But opposite will happen in a very rare case. Okay, that no urban girl would prefer to go to rural area, or no even urban boy would prefer to go to rural area when it comes to marriage or wedding. But yes, one thing is very clear, that it requires the transportation frequency. Some economic activities would take place, social gatherings like marriages or get-togethers of families, or some rituals are to be performed together, social customs, that after death, all the relatives would gather at the native place or at the village. I'm not aware. Let me ask the Moses. Moses, are you listening? Moses, are you there?
Hello, sir.
Moses, yes. Moses, where do you live? In village or in city?
I live in the suburb of Kampala, 6 kilometers away from the capital city.
Okay, the suburb. It is called suburb, right?
Yeah.
But we
It's called
cannot exact. It's
okay,
outskirts
something.
of Kampala.
Yes. Suburb.
Okay. Do you visit villages
Yes, I do.
and on what occasions?
Sometimes on occasions of working, and on some other cases, occasions of visiting relatives.
Okay. Are there social rituals or social customs which compel you to visit your relatives or kins or other family members living in a rural area?
Yes, mostly wedding ceremonies and funeral rites.
Okay, funerals. Very correct. So the same is the case with India. right? But it is a temporary visit. But when one particular girl or boy gets married to the spouse who is living in urban area, then definitely it will be a permanent migration. That means they will be migrating forever. Does it happen in your country, Moses?
Come again, sir.
Acha. When a girl marries boy and girl is living in a village, and if she marries to boy who is living in a city, then who is supposed to migrate?
The girl migrates.
Okay, so this is called permanent, uh, the permanent migration, and due to social cause, right? Due to social relationships. Okay, so it is there, right? It is definitely there. Now, social delivery linkages, political and administrative. See, soon our meeting will end, but I will launch new meeting for the attendance purpose. Don't go away. We have 11 students with us: Ayush, Disha, Henry Baya, Isaac, Jitendra Gadvi. Now Kibirigi Hassan has also entered. Monica and Pinky, Moses, Mugoya, Vivek and Yakding. Okay, Anthony is not there. And rest of other our overseas friends are there. And in Indian friends, Ayush, Disha, Jitendra, Monica and Pinky, and Vivek Parekh, right? These are the people. So if the meeting ends, I will launch new meeting for taking the attendance. Okay.